When you get the job, one of the more nerve-wracking and exciting parts of it is orientation and training. And it's mostly because you don't really know what's coming, what to take, or how to prepare. No worries, in this video, I'm gonna be telling you everything you need to know so that you're prepared for orientation and training with Sephora. Let's get right into it. Hey YouTube, welcome to my tube. I don't know about you guys, but personally, I am always so nervous and so excited for orientation / training when I'm starting a new job, a new school, or a new anything. And it's mostly because first off, you're meeting all these new people. Second, you're in the first half of that probationary period where they're really watching you to see if you're a fast learner, if your skills are up to par, how you're going to take all this stuff that's being thrown at you and apply it to when you're at the job. And they're really just all eyes on you at all times during this first half. But no need to psych yourself out, because in this video, I'm gonna be telling you everything you need so that you're prepared for all of orientation and training with Sephora and you're not nervous, just excited. Let's jump right into all that information. Okay, so first off, of course, you have the onboarding call. So, you go through your interviews, you successfully went through both of them, you met your manager, your assistant manager, you are done and you're just waiting to find out if the job is yours. So you get the onboarding call and they will always give you a call. If you're not available, they'll leave you a voicemail letting you know, like, please call me back at this number, it's so-and-so, etc. When you get on that call, you are speaking to the boss, the manager of your store, and they're basically just saying, congratulations, I'm offering you the job, you did great, we're so excited to have you on the team, and are you still interested? So this question comes up because sometimes people are doing multiple interviews at the same time for different jobs because you never know, and it's completely natural to do that. And they always have to ask if you're still interested, just in case another job offer came up, or maybe you're just not in the right place for this job anymore, or so many other things just happen that they have to ask if this is still a job that you are interested in. So that is the first question. And once you say yes to that, you are officially part of the Sephora team. How exciting. In that call, they're also going to ask you when you're available to start. So are you able to start in 2 days, next week, in 2 weeks, etc. On X day? You can tell them, or they'll suggest a day if you don't have one in mind, and you can tell them this works or this doesn't work. They're also going to ask if the email that you put on your profile is still active, if you still have access to it, if that's a good email to reach you at, because they are going to be sending you an email with a whole bunch of information right after you get off that call. Which brings me to my next point, the onboarding email. So in that email, there's going to be a link that you follow to create your Sephora My Career profile. So like any other profile, your name, your birthday, where you live, all this stuff that they are going to use as personal information for you. And this profile is also shared with your manager and your assistant manager, so your higher ups are the ones that see this profile. You can add a picture, you can add your favorite color, all these other little fun things along with your personal information. In the email, aside from that link where you're creating that information, they will also tell you to fill out a small little questionnaire, which is basically just to share with your other coworkers who this new person is, and also if you can share a picture. So the questions are usually like, who's someone that's important in your life? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite dish? What's one makeup product that you can't live without? And then your best picture that you want to send in so that people have a face to the name. In that same email, they're going to ask you to make sure you have 2 forms of ID for your first day, because obviously they need to verify your ID with the taxes and all this professional stuff that they take care of really. So all you need to know is you need to bring 2 forms of ID to assure that it is you and not somebody else that's coming in to work for you. In that email, you'll also get the day and time for your first shift. So your onboarding day will be in that email. Also get the Sephora handbook, which has all of our policies, all of our rules, all the do's and don'ts. So you can kind of start looking through that when you get it, because it's kind of like a preface to what you're going to be looking at in training. And also in that email is going to come the uniform information. So what you can and can't wear, Meanwhile, we're getting you the t-shirt, or just in general what you can and can't wear for Sephora. With that, I also want to mention that training is paid. That was one of the questions that I got on my TikTok. One of my last videos I posted, someone asked me, is training paid? And yes, it is, because even though your first day you come in, you don't clock in because you obviously don't know your ID yet or anything else. The manager and the assistant manager will make sure that your hours are punched in for you and that you are getting money for the hours that you are in store. So you are getting paid, no worries. Just because you don't clock in for that one day doesn't mean you're not getting it. They are making sure on the backside that you are getting that money. So once we have the onboarding email, the onboarding phone call, you are pretty much ready for your actual first day at Sephora. And the first day is exciting, nerve-wracking, and everything in between, because like I said, you're meeting all these new people, you're in a new place, so much new stuff is coming at you at the same time that you're kind of like, this is a lot. But no worries, no worries. Just take it one little thing at a time. It might seem overwhelming though when you're there, but just remember, it's not something that you have to take in all at once, because you're going to keep seeing these people. You will relearn their name. You will re-ask them their name. I asked my coworkers a million times, what's your name again? I'm sorry. Or I looked at their badge, because everyone's always wearing their name tag. So no worries about that part. And all the information that's coming at you will only be used for that specific day. Anything else that you have to use throughout your time working at Sephora will be revisited in trainings, or the manager, CEO, assistant manager will repeat it to you at a later time. So again, just take it with a grain of salt. Like, breathe, relax, don't be too nervous. So your actual first day is actually different for everybody. You have two types of first days at Sephora. You have the onboarding day, where you solely come in to bring in your tax stuff, to show them your 2 forms of IDs, to fill out any paperwork, and then you go home for the day. And then the second option is you come in, do all of that stuff that I mentioned, tax stuff, onboarding, all of that. And then also you get like a mini tour and you do a little bit of extra stuff. It really is different for everyone, and it kind of just depends on your manager how your first day is actually gonna be. So I'm gonna narrow it down to first week, what your first week is gonna be like, because I can't guarantee that your first day is gonna encompass everything, but I also can't guarantee that it won't encompass all of it either. So do with that information as you will. Be ready for both, just in case. So I keep mentioning this onboarding stuff, and basically onboarding is making you an official Sephora employee. So giving you your employee ID, making sure you get your register code, doing the tax forms like I mentioned, providing the 2 personal IDs so that we have a way of identifying you, and pretty much any other code stuff or like things like that that you need to use around the store is onboarding. Along with that, I forgot to mention, they're also going to give you your MSL, which is My Sephora Learning, which is where you're going to do all your trainings. They're gonna give you your login for that website, along with the Zipline website, which is where we get all of our information while we work there. Also, if some of these terms seem a little like, I don't know what you're talking about, I don't know what this is, make sure you check out my playlist, Everything Sephora, that's what it's called, because I did do another video where I specifically talk about all the vocabulary and terms that you need to know for your Sephora job. So make sure you definitely check out that. And I guess if you want to share with anyone else that wants to work at Sephora, I also have my interview questions and all of that good stuff in another video. So just make sure you check out the whole playlist while you're here. And while I'm on this brief little intermission, make sure you subscribe, because I am going to be doing a whole lot more on Sephora, everything really. Sephora information, Sephora training, Sephora, everything that I can possibly share with you without going too deep into the things that we can't. I will share with you guys so you are ready for your Sephora job, or so that you can know all the Sephora stuff that goes on this side. Back to what I was saying though. So you're gonna get all those logins, and then you're probably also going to get a tour of the store. So they're gonna show you all the brands, all the different zones, the back room, your break room, ops, off-site stuff, any emergency points that you need to know. All of that stuff is encompassed in the tour. along with a few little tidbits that they add in here and there, like, oh, where is the fire extinguisher? Like little things like that that you need to know and are important to know. So now I'm going to talk about the actual training portion. Let's say that you happen to have gotten option 1, where you come in one day for onboarding, and then the next time you come in, you do your trainings and the tour and everything else. When you come in, the first thing that you need to do as a Sephora employee, especially once you have your Sephora employee ID, is put your stuff down in a locker, make sure you lock it, and come back out to clock in so that you can get your hours, so that you can get paid. This is not for the first day. If you don't have your employee ID, you obviously don't worry about this. But in the case like I mentioned, if you did onboarding already, you have your ID and you're coming in another day for training and touring and all that other good stuff, make sure you put your stuff down first, because that is something that we kind of get audited on, and that's something that the managers look out for, and that's a very big point that they will make to you on your first day. Make sure you're putting your stuff down and clock in right after, so that we can get started with your training, with your job. You can go out to the floor, wherever you at on the job. Once you clock in, you get ready and you get started. Because you are new at the position, once you clock in, you are going to be looking for your manager, your assistant manager, a CEO, someone that is higher up than you, so that they can kind of guide you on what your day is going to look like. For the most part, the first day, you are really just coming in to sit at a computer for the 4 or 5 hours that they have you scheduled. And occasionally they will bring you out to the floor just so you get a break from sitting in front of a computer, but it's not for you to practice on the floor. It's more so to show you some things here and there so that you can learn the brands, all this other good stuff, but nothing too crazy where you're like, oh my god, I need to be super ready, because you really don't. Typically, you are going to be doing MSL on a computer in an office, probably the ops one, or even in a laptop, depending how your Sephora is set up, how the store is set up, if they have space, if there's people using other computers. All of that is taken into account, but you will be at a computer. So if you wear glasses or you need to use glasses, please bring them, because you are going to be sitting there for a good portion of your day. You get like 10-minute breaks and also a lunch break depending on how long your shift is. But you definitely want to bring your glasses, some snacks, maybe some drinks like a water, juice, whatever, just to like really keep you awake, keep you ready for the information that's coming at you, because it is a lot and it can get boring. Just imagine sitting in front of a computer for 4 or 5 hours at a time and just reading or watching videos, and that's pretty much it. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, MSL will be pretty much the majority of your day for your first 2 to 3 days at the job. Like I said, they'll try to stand you up and take you to the floor and like show you the different brands, show you where they're at, talk about little things that you should know, just to give you a break from the computer. But you're really not gonna get that hands-on experience till probably after the 2 to 3 days that you do MSL, because at that point you should kind of already be in the areas where they're talking about the register, where they're talking about the different brands and how to sell them and how to do a multi-world basket and all these different things that come with the training. Now, I do want to mention really quickly, I am not going to talk about specific things that they talk about in the trainings, because honestly, I don't remember it all. It was a lot of information, a lot of things that we do now, and it's kind of like secondhand for me. Like, I go in and I know exactly what to do, but it is stuff that I learned during training. So I would have to talk about like a whole shift to actually give you all the information that comes in training. But like I said, it's going to talk about creating a multi-world basket, what to do if you get a gift card, how to handle a return, how to work at the register, the brands, and all of that stuff. But I do want to mention also that the last thing that you learn in your training is about brands, about products, how to sell your products. All of that stuff will be last, because you do have to start with the foundational training, which takes me into my next point. That is exactly where you start your training information on MSL, foundational training. Inside foundational training, it's pretty much the basic policies that you need to know, what you need to know for when we're getting audited, if someone's coming in asking audit questions, what to do, emergency protocols, uniform restrictions, uniform information, all of the basics will be the foundational training. Once you kind of get through that, you start going into, like I mentioned, the register, what to do with a return, what to do with a gift card, and all that other information. And last is always going to be the brand information. So anything you need to know about a brand, anything you need to know about a product, how you're going to market this product to the clients, all of that will be the last bit of training, because once you're in those sections, you're already out on the floor practicing in real life. So it's kind of like just having background information for what you're already selling to the client. Once you're halfway through getting the foundational training, where you're starting to talk about the register, they're gonna start bringing you out to the floor, which is so exciting now, like thinking back on my experience, because you're reading all these things and you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to do all this and apply all this when I'm out there. But when you actually go out to the floor for your first time, you're with a buddy. So someone who's already worked at Sephora for a certain amount of time, that knows what they're doing, that can teach you the right ways of doing everything. So you're not by yourself, but you're more so able to learn from someone who has been doing it for X amount of time, which is great, instead of like them kind of throwing you to the wolves. So halfway through foundational training, that's what's gonna happen. They're gonna take you out to the floor and you're gonna be buddied up with someone in one of the easier zones. So maybe if it's a slow day, you'll be in the makeup zone. Sometimes if it's a little bit busy, they'll send you to the back where skincare and fragrance is, because sometimes those are the slower zones. Eventually, they are going to bring you up to the register to buddy up with someone so that you learn how to work it, learn what buttons to push, learn what to do with a client that has a return, learn what to do with a client that has a gift card, and all these other things. So you are getting hands-on experience and the MSL learning at the same time. But this is only once you get to that certain point in the basic training in MSL. And your managers and assistant managers can look at all of that on their side. So you don't have to show them where you're at. They will see it and they'll know when it's the correct time to take you out. Eventually, once you're done with foundational training and you're getting closer to the brand information, they're going to start sending you out into the floor on your own, which basically means from the time you start basic training that you're learning all the information, you're sitting in the back all the time, you know, you get to that halfway point, you're going outside with a buddy, to the very end where now you're pretty much on your own, you are getting some sort of training in between all that so that you are able to do this on your own. It sounds a lot closer when I'm talking about it, but it's really not, I promise. Like, they're not just gonna be like, okay, you had 2 days of training, go out there, go sell stuff. They would never do that, I hope, because you obviously wouldn't know what to do. You don't know where the brands are. You don't know pretty much anything. So they wouldn't do that, but definitely want you to get some sort of experience. So they are going to put you in certain zones that you've already been in with a buddy by yourself eventually. So your schedule, when you get to that point, is gonna look like MSL your first hour, maybe first 2 hours. Then you're gonna be in zone skincare and fragrance because you've already been there with a buddy, so you should be able to sell in that section. You've seen how it's done, you've done it on your own, you should be okay there. And then we'll send you to another section with another buddy so that you can learn that section, and then the next time, or maybe the next 2 times after that, they'll send you out by yourself. So it's kind of like a fast-paced environment and a fast-paced learning, but you also get that hands-on experience that kind of makes it easier for you to grasp it all at the same time. I also want to mention, if you don't feel ready, you can always tell your manager, like, I don't know if I'm ready to be out there just yet. I kind of want to review, or I want to study, or I don't know if I'm ready to be by myself yet. Is it okay if you pair me up with someone? Because obviously it's not a job where you should feel uncomfortable when you're selling stuff, because it's already a lot of information to think about when you're thinking about a product. When clients come up to you randomly and be like, okay, I want an eye cream, and you have to go through every brand or a brand that you know of that you can recommend, and still, like, it's just a lot of pressure, is my point. There's a lot of pressure, and if you're not comfortable just yet, it is okay to speak up, and you definitely should, because you should not feel uncomfortable trying to sell to a client. Thinking back on my experience with training, the longest part was really like the 2 to 3 days of MSL because they don't schedule back-to-back days like they do an employee that's already been there. Because obviously you need to sit in the back, you need to be with someone sometime. So they'll schedule you like one day at the beginning of the week, one day at the end of the week, and then you won't come back into the next week. But that's only for training. Once you already pass training, they'll start scheduling you more and more depending your position as well. But you'll definitely be coming in more and more to get more hands-on experience, learn the brand, see the brand reps, all this other stuff. And if you need to write things down to learn, write it down. If you need to rewatch a video, rewatch it. And either way, once you're past the training and you're officially working normal or like out on the floor like everyone else, we still have our trainings that we do on a regular basis. So it's called daily dosing, and we basically get our little daily dose of training reminders or learning about a product, learning about a brand. Maybe you have to go back and look at this one training because we need to all revise it. We need to all go over it again. So it's not gonna be the one time that you're sitting in training and you're never gonna see it again. We literally see it probably once a week to maybe like 3 times a month, if not more. So that's pretty much all of training that I can think of, that I thought of for this video. If you have any questions or if anything was unclear, please leave me a comment. I try to answer everyone as fast as possible. And if not, please go leave me a message on my TikTok because it's easier sometimes to make a video for you to explain everything. But anywhere you feel comfortable leaving me a question, please do so that I can get you the answers that you are looking for. And congratulations on your Sephora job. We are so excited for you to be a part of the team. I'm so excited for you to go through training and orientation. It's going to be so much fun, and it really is so rewarding once you're out there as an official BA outside of training. So enjoy it because it doesn't last long. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And also leave me a comment for any other recommendations for Sephora information that you want to know so I can make sure I can do a video for you about it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.